My name is Cassie Brown. Online, I go by CB. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm an esports broadcaster.
Hi, my name is Aramori. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a Overwatch content creator, coach, and a competitive player.
My name is Avery. I go by any pronouns. I have been playing in Tier 3 since 2020. I've been playing in Collegiate with Bellevue since 2021.
My name is Danny, also known as Grandma to a lot of the community because old. And I am gender fluid, so I'm cool with any pronouns. Some of the things I'm known for in the Overwatch community: backcaps and epic sleeps on Ana.
I originally got into gaming as a way to kind of hang out with my dad.
I've been gaming pretty much since I was a very, very small child. I was like 5 or 6 years old.
My experience in gaming before Overwatch was purely casual. I would go over to my cousin's house, and he was actually the person that got me into Overwatch.
I discovered it through my sister, who plays it, shout out to Lynn, and she's adamant that Overwatch was not like other FPS games and that I would actually like it. So I picked it up. I immediately became a Pharah main because apparently I have a type in video games and it's flying lesbians. And I actually started off in no elo bronze, like bottom 500, and I got to diamond playing Pharah, and then at some point I became an Ana main instead, and now I'm masters.
Events like the Overwatch League Grand Finals out in Philly, World Cup Finals in 2019 BlizzCon. Having an opportunity to see all of your online friends all in one place gathered to share a moment together is really, really special.
One of the biggest ones for me was getting to play at my first LAN with my collegiate team. Even though we got kind of wiped, it was still a great experience to actually get to go with my friends. And then there's also a lot of the moments that I've gotten to experience as a caster. Getting to calling all heroes is definitely one of the coolest things that I've ever had the chance to do. Catboy Cafe had nothing to counter it. They were just completely at the mercy of it. That's gonna be a memory that kind of sits with me forever. Being a trans woman in the Overwatch scene and also one of the more prominent trans Overwatch casters at this point in time, it makes me kind of look back at my transition as a whole and how before I transitioned, I had no real idea who I was, what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and I just really had no direction. Being able to find my identity and start to, lean more into the things that I just love to do, the way that I love to be seen, and the way that I like to interact with all of the people around me, helped me find some of these communities that uplifted me and helped me start to find my way to where I am now.
For me, I think my identity has played a big part in who I associate with and who I surround myself with. A lot of people within the LGBT community, within, Calling All Heroes community. I've really made myself a good support system. Being
a woman in esports or just gaming in general definitely made it harder to kind of start out my journey. Originally, I kind of struggled getting onto new teams for fear of being kind of ostracized, kind of in a similar way to maybe I was being ostracized in ranked. So I just feel I have to fight twice as hard to be perceived anywhere close to the same skill level as other players.
I'm pretty solid in that identity, so I want to be a shield for other people. I want to be Reinhardt. I want to support all the people out there who have to deal with so much hatred and make sure they feel supported and cared for. I want people to know that there are people out there who won't tolerate so-called gamer words thrown at them, because it's not okay. At the end of the day, we're all here to compete and have fun. And it's just not fair to some people that they don't get to compete at the level they want to or have as much fun as they want because of all this willful ignorance and hate.
In terms of a direct correlation from Calling All Heroes, I see a lot of my teammates or my friends or people from Calling All Heroes just grinding ranked. I feel it's given a lot of marginalized gendered peoples a lot of drive to just get in there and work really hard because they know that they're going to be able to play in a tournament that actually cares and supports them.
If you're passionate about something, don't let anyone dissuade you from following that, and you got to be yourself above anything else. I didn't think I was gonna go to college in senior year, and turns out this thing I'd dedicating my life to for a few years was the reason I got into college. Just be yourself, do what makes you happy, and you'll get through it.
Even though it might be really scary, and even though you feel you're not welcome there, it's really important for you to be there, because I know there are a lot of you who who can do it. When other people like us, you know, other LGBTQ people see that, it inspires them to go for it too. So at some point, you know, we're just gonna have to make our own space. We're gonna have to sort of shove our way in there. And you know what? People like me, I'm gonna support you.
There's always going to be people who want to knock you down and always want to see you, you know, be the worst version of yourself, but you can kind of like take all their hate and just be like, you know what, despite all this, I'm going to succeed.
I would just say, do what makes you happy. If you're not hurting anybody and you're being true to yourself and you find happiness and you find validation in the ways that you express yourself, I say go for it.
Pride and calling all heroes are important to me because I am a bisexual woman, and there is still like so much hate out in the world towards like LGBT plus and marginalized gender individuals. So anything that we can do to just normalize, you know, love and who we truly are is always going to be super important.
We don't always feel the most welcome. We don't always feel, you know, the most comfortable, and we're not always allowed to, but Pride is one of those situations where, like, despite everything else, we can just be unequivocally who we are and be loud and be proud of it and have a little bit of solidarity with one another, and we know we're living our truth, we know we're happy because of it, and that's just awesome.
So much of my becoming comfortable with myself came down to my support system, like my partner, my family, and then especially, you know, all the people I've met through Calling All Heroes and through Overwatch in general. They were the people that, you know, encouraged me to come out publicly and gave me the confidence to do that.
Growing up, like, before a lot of y'all were born, there actually were no terms for who I was that I knew about at the time. But I was still those things. Like, we didn't have a word for asexual. My friends just called me non-sexual, you know? Like, gender fluid wasn't really coined yet, so I just told people I was, like, in girl mode or I was in boy mode. Me being here and being able to be openly bi, openly ace, openly gender fluid, and celebrating that with other people in the community, like, that means a lot.
Be a part of the community. Support the Calling All Heroes broadcast. Come out, watch them, support the players. Help them get other opportunities down the line, because that's what we're all here for.
But I also think in gaming, you know, we also need allies.
Even just like standing up for someone if they're being like flamed for, you know, their gender or being harassed like in game.
I feel like being an ally isn't something you either are or aren't. It's an ongoing process that you have to choose every day. In every situation. Be like Reinhardt. Be their shield.
Support each other and love each other.
If we support each other and if we support the community, then we'll all rise.